This is Harold, and this is the Respishow. Today is Friday, July 23, 8 p.m., and this will be our best show. Tonight, we will welcome back Butch Valdes, the Edifier Fire, and also a new guest, Aaron, the birthday boy. We will be talking about today problemang pampamilya. Mga problema sa loob ng pamilya mula kapanganakan hanggang sa pagkapatay. Pero bago yan, pag-uusapan din natin ang desisyon na lumabas kahapon. Ang desisyon ni Justice Yonen about sa ICC investigation laban kay Duterte. And sasagutin din ni Aaron mamaya ang question kung pwede bang tumakbo as Vice President si Duterte and kung maiiwasan niya ba ang criminal prosecution dahil sa pagtakbo niyang ito or ang kanyang pagka-elect sa vice presidential position. Pero bago ang lahat, gusto kong kamustahin si Butch Valdes. Ang tagal na namin din nagkasama. Sorry po, hindi ako nakapunta dyan ngayon and then last week, especially ngayon, ang lakas ng ulan dito sa BGC from here, sobrang last night, sobrang traffic, papunta sa bahay, umangkas ako ng motor, nakakapote, walang helmet. How about you? Basta ka?
I'm okay. Harold, tsaka but siyempre, nag-worry din ako para dito sa ating mga kababayan na nagsasuffer na dahil kung hindi traffic, bahang-baha. At yung mga iba talagang napipinsala. I'm sure meron tayong na mga mortality rates na naman dyan. No? Every time we have this. And it's sad that all the years of my life I've been a little bit more aware. Every time there is a flood, every time there is rainy season, no? Ito na naman yung floods, no? Ito na naman yung traffic. Palaging ganyan at meron din namamatay. Every year. Parang wala nang hinto. No matter what supposedly government does to fix it, parang hindi na iibsan ang problema. No? Either we have very incompetent people in government or they don't really fix it. Instead, they steal the resources that are put aside to come up with this flood control measures and so on and so forth. Yun lang. Nakakalungkot. No?
Alright. May sure ako, Butch, kung meron mga mortality, yun yung mga isda mo sa fish ban. Fish ban. Nag-overflow yung fish ban mo. And I think, nagkaroon kayo ng mga, I don't know, ano yun, tilapia or hito dun sa lupa para ibalik sa fish ban. I'm sure may mortality rate dun. Am I right?
Hindi. But you will be surprised yung mga hito na tumalon sa pond ko. Wala akong mortality. Matibay ang hito.
Wala ba kayong mortality sa ihawan?
Wala.
Alright.
Anyway.
Let us go to Aaron. Aaron is the birthday boy today. One of the reasons why I'm still at the office is kasi birthday celebration niya dito sa office since lunchtime kanina hanggang ngayon. Meron pa ng drinks. Nakakapagod, Aaron. Ang galante mo talaga. But tell me, Aaron, what do you think about all this wetness?
Okay naman po, attorney. Thank you po. Thank you po sa pahandaan nyo kanina. And thank you po sa mga greetings nyo po. And hello po sa lahat ng viewers. And I hope you're all safe po.
What do you think about all these floodings?
For me naman po, attorney, ever since naman po, alam naman po natin na dalawa lang naman po yung climate dito sa Pilipinas. It's dry and wet. Kaya po kapag po sa latter half ng years, kailangan po ating mga mamamayan, kailangan po mag-ingat po talaga pagdating po sa mga ganito po natural disasters po, no? Sa mga pagbaha, sa mga po malakas na pag-ulan. And lagi po nating susundin yung mga government officials if meron man po silang mga anunsyo po, no, regarding po sa mga sa mga ganitong natural disasters po, attorney.
Alright. Bukod sa pagsunod sa gobyerno, Butch, anong sa tingin mo yung technical solution ng mga flooding na to at saka traffic? Paulit-ulit na nga
Talagang
lang tulad ng sabi mo.
ang solution dyan talaga infrastructure. No? You must anticipate the volume of water that will be pouring down and going through the rivers and inundating the rivers. No? So dapat computed na natin lahat yan, and then you create the infrastructure for it. No? One of them is to create more dams. No? Pag nag-create ka ng dam, you create an artificial lake. Aside from the fact that a dam can also generate power, electricity, yung lake that you create in a dam, you can construct what you call tributaries. These are small canals that are going out of these artificial lakes, going to areas that really later on will be in need of water. No? In other words, so that it does not overflow our rivers. Our rivers are the same. They have not been expanded. They're the same, but the volume of water can change depending on how strong the rainy season and the storms are. But they have not done that. I don't think enough thinking has gone into it, because our administrations, our governments do not plan for longer than 6 years. No? And if they cannot plan for a more long term, which is what is needed for infrastructure, so they will be happy with what you call pumping stations. A pumping station is just a pump that you insert into the river, no? And so that you can pump out the water somewhere else, so that the river is not going to overflow. Happy na sila doon. O kaya ilalagay mo doon sa mga underpass para ipump mo yung tubig sa ibang lugar, no? Para makakadaan yung mga kotse. Hanggang doon na lang tayo instead of something much more long term. No? But that's the way. They cannot, these government people, all the time, they think in a very short term period or time span. Kaya wala silang infrastructure projects that will benefit the country for 20 years or 30 years.
Right. That is a sensible plan, Butch. I remember also nag-uusap tayo during dinner sa bahay ninyo. You mentioned about a power plant somewhere in Bataan, and then you add a desalination plant, and it will have implications sa irrigation and then sa supply ng fresh water dito sa Manila. I think kailangan talaga ng ganon kalayong pag-iisip pagdating sa energy supply, and ganon din dito sa pag-manage ng flooding. Ganon dapat kalayo ang pag-iisip para mag-invest tayo sa mahal na infrastructure, pero makikinabang tayo from which we will benefit for a long, long, long time.
Well, actually, pag inisip mo kung mahal nga siguro in the initial cost. But when you amortize that for 30 years, 40 years, no, murang-mura, no? Instead of gagastos ka every year, bumibili ka ng mga pumping stations, bumibili ka ng mga short-term type of repairs, no? That makes it much more expensive. No? Tsaka yung water, ang water, tama si we have only two seasons, the dry and the wet season. The wet season, parang nagsosobra-sobra tayo sa tubig. Pero pagdating ng dry season, kulang naman. No? That's why it's important that we have methods of generating water when it is not raining. Because our country and our people have been only dependent on God-given rain every year. Our farmers are dependent on rain, no? Nagdadasal sila for rain, di ba? Pero yung sinabi ko about nuclear power plants and the nuclear power desalination plants, you can actually generate water, no, from the sea using nuclear power desalination plants to irrigate the whole of Central Luzon during the dry season, no? So that our production of agriculture and food, no, is continuous. Hindi bumabagsak pag walang tubig, tapos dadating na naman pag may tubig. Because ang water natin will be year-round, no? So nandyan, we generate water and we don't have to wait for God to give us water through the rain, no? We have to use our kokote, no?
Alright. Butch, alam mo, Butch, dumadami na ang mga viewers natin.
Oh, very good. Congratulations.
Kapag pupunta na ako sa kumpanya ng kapatid ko, kilala na nila ako. At na sabi nila sa akin, na-enjoy na nila particularly yung mga episode natin kung saan nakaka-relate sila sa kanilang pang-araw-araw na buhay. Tulad ng pagpapautang, pagngolekta ng utang, at mga problema sa pamilya. Kaya kayong mga bagong manonood, baka hindi pa kilala si Butch. Siya ang chairman ng KDP, Katipunan ng Demokratikong Pilipino. The coolest and the fastest growing political party list in the Philippines. He's the chairman and he is the one sponsoring this show. He has been kind to me and he is a good friend. He knows a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
It's not the party list. It's a party. It's a national party. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Butch, you are as popular as me to the extent that I'm popular. And maybe you are more popular.
I'm glad your program is getting the attention that it deserves, and you will increase your viewership, I'm sure. You know? Yeah. If you have more parties like that, and it's good that you're holding a little glass of scotch there. So,
oops.
At least, ano lang naman yan, siyempre, you have to be casual and after dinner, and then, so ganyan. Very good.
Yep. Sometimes nga medyo nagiging bisyo na, nagiging 3 times a week na yung mga iba dito eh. Nag-i-stack na sila ng Johnny Walker dito. So, dito sa rep, napapansin ko, parang mas dumadami ang party ninyo dito ah. Alright. Butch, sikat lang naman ako sa dito sa office tsaka sa mga kumpanya ng kapatid ko tsaka kumpanya ng mama ko.
Okay. Very good.
Sila lang atang nakakakilala sa akin. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, punta tayo sa substance ng show natin ngayon. Aaron will comment about the legal questions I will be posing. Hey, Aaron.
Hello po, attorney.
Leonen wrote a decision yesterday or promulgated a decision. Yung decision na yon ay tungkol sa legality ng ICC investigation kay Duterte.
Okay.
Bago ang lahat, how do you find Justice Leonen? What can you say about his style of writing, the way he approaches cases as compared with other justices?
Alright po. Yung kay Justice Leonen po, kasi po sa mga ponensya niya po, napapansin po namin mga law students, mga sa legal profession, na ang hahaba po ng mga decisions ni Justice Leonen. So yun po, that's one thing, mahahaba po. And then second po, medyo may pagka-philosophical din po minsan yung pag-atake ni Justice Leonen sa mga issues po. No? And thirdly po, I think na we can say is very enlightening po yung mga enlightening po yung mga decisions niya. Like, hindi niya lang sasabihin yung legal issue, yung legal issues and then yung law na related. Kundi attorney, sasabihin niya pa yung history ng mga batas na yun, kung paano nagsimula. Kaya po humahaba po talaga. And just like recently po, yung lumabas na decision, naging 100 plus pages po siya.
Okay. Kahit 100 pages pa siya kahaba, kasing haba na siya ng isang nobela, ano yung essence ng decision?
Well, attorney po, no, syempre po, yung decision po, it talks about po yung withdrawal ng Philippines sa ICC. Pero po, sabi po sa decision, para ma-excerpt po ako nabasa, kasi hindi ko pa po tapos eh. Ang haba po ng decision eh. So parang sabi po doon, parang there are implications po. Even if mag-withdraw ka from the ICC, meron ka pa rin pong mga obligations. No? And baka po magtaka yung mga viewers natin, parang paano ako makaka-relate dito? International law to. No? So, ang masasabi ko lang po dyan, syempre, international law, it shapes the policy of the Philippines. Kasi po, ang mga international law, ang mga general accepted principles po ng international law ay ina-adapt ng Philippines.
Wait
Kaya,
there, Aaron. Parang meron kang importanteng sinasabi. Ang Philippine ba ay isang sovereign state?
yes po, attorney.
Di ba
Philippines
sabi
is
nila kapag sovereign state ka, ikaw yung hari, wala dapat ibang entity ang nagdidikta sa'yo, di ba?
That's true po, attorney.
O so paano mo sa akin may paliliwanag ngayon na merong body sa ibang bansa, ang International Criminal Court, that can hold us accountable? Tell me, Aaron, how?
Alright po, attorney. Ngayon po, it is true po. Totoo po yun, sovereign ang Philippines. No? It is a sovereign state. Kaya lang po, mayroon pong may limitations po yung sovereignty na yun. Kapag ang isang state po ay nakipag-treaty sa mga ibang mga bansa, binababa niya po yung sarili niya to the point na kinokonsent niya yung kinokonsent ng bansa na yon na okay, pwede akong maging obliged dito kahit sovereign state ako. Kasi pumapayag ako na pumasok sa isang treaty kasama
Meron,
ng bansa.
okay, sorry to interrupt, Aaron. Meron bang basehan sa Constitution yung pagbaba na yon na sinasabi mo? Yung pagbabaw natin sa international law?
Opo, attorney, nasa po yung Article 2 po yan ng Constitution that the Philippines
Ano
shall
sabi?
the Philippines shall adopt po the general accepted principles of international law.
Yun! Tell me the formal process ng pag-adapt ng international law. Tandaan ninyo tulad ng sabi ni Aaron, ang international law nasa labas ng Pilipinas yan. May sovereignty tayo. Tayo lang ang pwedeng gumawa ng batas para sa atin. Pero somehow, pwede tayong mag-submit sa mga international bodies or international law. Sa pamamagitan ng anong proseso, Aaron? Tell me.
Yun po, pwede po tayong mag-submit sa kanila through entering into treaties, multilateral treaties or bilateral treaties, ganun po. So ganun po yung nagiging process po niyan. And yung mga treaties po na ito, kapag ito po na-sign na, na-ratify na, nagiging party po sila ng batas ng Pilipinas through the doctrine of transformation po. So dalawa po yan, doctrine of transformation, doctrine of incorporation.
Nax! Pretty much sa Constitution may nagsasabi doon na 2/3 ay ratified ng Congress or
Yes.
Senate ata. Ibig sabihin lang yan, since international law yun, hindi natin dinedeprive ang ating Congress na mag-enact ng mga batas. Somehow, i-approve pa rin nila ang mga treaties na ito para masabi natin na bound ang Pilipinas sa international law. And then further, pwede pa tayong mag-enact ng mga batas na i-implement or i-execute yung international law na yun. Pretty much, i-adapt niya lang iyon. Copy-paste, gawin mong Republic Act. Eh di local law na siya. Local statute na siya, di ba? Ganon ang nangyari. Ganon ang nangyari sa maraming treaties to which the Philippines joined. And ito rin ang nangyari dito sa Rome Statute. Yun yung treaty na nag-institute ng International Criminal Court. Pumirma tayo dyan, gumawa tayo ng batas na approve ng Congress. And then, sa panahon ni Duterte, nag-withdraw siya. Nagsulat siya ng letter sa International Criminal Court and sabi niya, hello, bye-bye. Alis na daw siya. Babay na daw ang Philippines. Ang problema, Siyempre, sabi ng Philippines, ay ng mga ibang tao dito sa Philippines, sabi nila, wait, hindi ka lang basta-bastang magwi-withdraw dyan. Sumali tayo dyan. Nag-approve ang Senate dyan, Congress. Nag-approve din ang ang Congress sa pamamagitan ng pagpasa ng Republic Act para implement yung international law. It is as good as law. And ang president ay bawal mag-cancel ng isang batas. Kaya nung kinancel mo yung participation natin sa Rome Statute, parang nag-cancel ka na rin ng batas. Yun ang sabi nila. Pero anong sabi ni Justice Leon and Aaron?
So yun nga po, sabi po ni Justice Leone na even if na umatras tayo sa isang treaty, may mga implications pa rin po yun na bound tayong sundin. So basically, yun po yung nabasa kong excerpt. No? So kailangan po, hindi po basta-basta na kapag ayaw mo na talaga. Siyempre po, ano po to treaty po to parang ginawa po to ng mga maraming bansa na kailangan respetuhin. Di ba nga po, attorney, meron po tayong pacta sunt servanda. Na,
wow, sarap pakinggan nun. Latin yun Tell me. Tell me, ano ibig sabihin?
Yung pacta sunt servanda po, basically kapag po nakipag-enter po tayo sa treaty, dapat in good faith susundin po natin lahat po ng mga nakalagay dun sa treaty na yun. No?
Yeah, pacta sunt servanda. Serve the pact. Yung sunt, ibig sabihin susuntin. Sundin mo yung pact. Alright? Pero ang sabi ni Leonen dito sa case na to is, sa haba ng case, umabot ng isang nobela. Ang hirap basahin. Siguro it would take you 2 days to finish the case. Sabi niya, moot and academic na to. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng moot and academic? Sa law. Ibig sabihin, tapos na yan. Bakit pa natin pinag-uusapan? Wala nang issue. Sabi niya, bakit wala nang issue? Sabi. Kasi daw, nag-withdraw na tayo and then yung International Criminal Court, tinanggap na. Anong magagawa na natin? Tapos na, bakit pa tayo nag-aaway ngayon? Kahit sabihin natin tama siya o mali, hindi na natin pwedeng ibalik pa yung sarili na natin doon kasi sila mismo, pinalabas na tayo. Diba? Halimbawa, miyembro ka ng, miyembro ka ng isang TODA, tricycle. Ang usapan ninyo magpapamilya, hey, bago ako mag-tricycle driver o miyembro ng TODA na ito, association ng mga tricycle, mag-decide muna tayong mga anak at saka pamilya, dapat mag-agree tayo. Vote, majority. Okay? So nagmiyembro kayo kasi nagpayag lahat ng mga anak mo and then nagpayag yung pamilya mo. Ngayon, si tatay nagta-tricycle, biglang umatras. Ngayon, galit na galit si nanay at saka yung mga ibang mga anak. Kasi sabi niya, ba't ka biglang umatras? Hindi kami pumayag nung pumasok ka dyan, nagbotohan tayo. Ngayon, bigla kang umatras. Ngayon, nagreklamo yung mga nanay at saka anak kunwari. Pumunta sa korte. Ang sabi ng korte, wait, tapos na Nag-resign na siya sa association. Tinanggap na ng association, wala na kayo sa record, kahit pa manalo kayo dito, kahit pa sabihin ko sa inyo na mali na hindi kayo kinonsulta. So, ibig sabihin, dapat yung tatay ay sinunod yung decision ninyo. Hindi ko na siya pwedeng ipilit pang ibalik doon. Kasi internal na sa atin yon. Tinanggap na pinaalis na kayo Kung gusto niyo sumali ulit, di magbotohan kayo ulit. Yun yung essence ng decision. O, di ba? Akala ninyo ang daming action sa decision no? Yung Supreme Court ayaw nila ng action. Mga ganun lang yung istorya nila. Simple lang, ginagawang sobrang complicated. Wala naman palang sinasabi, akala mo mapoprosecute na si Duterte sa ICC, no? Akala mo matutuloy na yung prosecution. Akala mo mauutusan siya makipag-cooperate sa prosecution. Hindi. Naiwasan yung issue na yon kasi sabi moot and academic yung issue. Ibig sabihin ng moot and academic yung issue, wag na natin pag-usapan pa yung ibang issue kasi wala naman na tayong magagawa. In other words, whether mag-cooperate pa yung Duterte administration doon sa investigation ng International Criminal Court, whether meron pa ring jurisdiction yung International Criminal Court ay carry out yung investigation nila dito sa Philippines, hindi sinagot yung tanong na yon. So nasa gray area pa rin tayo, may decision, pero walang masyadong nasagot. Okay? Yun. Yun yung anticlimactic ending ng 100 plus novel starring Duterte and authored by the Justice Marvic Leonen. Alright, Aaron, move tayo sa isang question dito sa ating bansa. Si Duterte daw tatakbong Vice President para kapag Vice President na siya, maiwasan niyang ma-prosecute. Pero before that, Aaron, tell me, napaprosecute ba talaga ang sitting Vice President and President?
Attorney, under our laws po, hindi po pwedeng ma-prosecute po ng civil or criminal ang sitting president kasi it would be a derogation of his office. Kumbaga, ang dami ng ginagawa ng opisina ng presidente. Parang hindi niya na priority pa ang humarap pa sa mga korte para harapin yung mga kaso niya. But that's not absolute, attorney, kasi meron naman tayong mga tatawag na impeachment, ganun, or kapag may mga crimes siyang ginawa, pwede po yun i-pursue after his term po. So President, safe po yan. Vice President, there is no jurisdiction po that tells us that a Vice President is immune from suit.
Alright. Yung wisdom ng principle na yan sa law is ganito. Sabi ng Supreme Court, hey, yung merong mga certain na tao sa ating konstitusyon na pwede mong i-impeach. Sila yung mga justices ng Supreme Court. Sila yung president, vice president, and then some other public officers na sobrang taas. Sabi niya, kapag pinayagan ko na i-prosecute mo siya criminally and then civilly or sa ibang bagay, edi parang gino around mo na yung manner na pinoprovide ng Constitution para matanggal sila. Hindi pwede yan. Kaya kung sinabing matatanggal sila through impeachment, huwag mo silang tanggalin by other means. Okay? So, dapat punta ka lang sa impeachment. So, kailangan mo siyang i-prosecute. Pero apparently, na-co-warrant to sino na namang justice yun? Yung dating Chief Justice, Aaron?
Sereno po.
Sereno! Not through impeachment. Alright? And then sa United States, kung titignan mo, si Donald Trump, last year ata, inallow ng Supreme Court ng United States na i-criminally investigate si Donald Trump. Sabi ni Donald Trump, wait, ito yung long-standing principle or doctrine ng ating batas na bawal i-prosecute ang president. Bakit nyo ginagawa ito? Sabi ng Supreme Court. Gumawa sila ng bawang jurisprudence. Dito sa atin, nag-e-evolve ang jurisprudence. Ibig sabihin, hindi constant ang mga doctrine.
Gusto ko lang i-add, yung kay Sereno, Harold, correct me if I'm wrong, the co-warranto was not, the co-warranto was based on her eligibility to be in the Supreme Court because she was lacking in qualifications. That is what they established, that she did not submit her SALN, among other things. And meron pang iba yata. And so therefore, she misrepresented herself when she said that she was qualified to be appointed in the Supreme Court. That is the basis of the co-warranto, not the fact that she had done wrong as a Supreme Court justice, which siyempre, kung Supreme Court justice ka, you need to be impeached. But in this case, ang sinasabi niya, her eligibility to be in the Supreme Court was already void from the very beginning. Parang null and void sa mga annulment ng mga kasal. From the very beginning, it was void, no? Yun yung niya kay Sereno. Yun ang understanding ko. Pero if I may add a little bit more on what you were discussing sa Presidente, yung ICC, from what I understand, whatever they make a decision, they can make a ICC International Court of Justice ba yun? ICJ,
Criminal court.
a criminal court. It is not enforceable. No? Whatever their decision is not going to be enforceable. And that is not the International Criminal Criminal Court is not a United Nations body. No?
Mm.
And as a matter of fact, the United States and I think China and some other countries did not want to be part of that International Criminal Court, no? Because precisely they felt that sometimes the moves that were being made by the ICC were political rather than anything else, no? So and the decisions they made were used principally against at that time African despots. If you look at the history of their decisions, they were being decided, a lot of them, or substantial amount, were on despots or dictators in Africa and in South America. No? So it was used to propagandize precisely in a regime change intention. Yun ang nababalitaan ngayon about that ICC.
Right. Naobserbahan nga ni Rando dito, yung guest natin last time. Attorney, dun sa records ng convictions ng ICC, puro African and then Southeast Asian.
Yeah. Yes, because they use it for regime change. It is not, I might add something, it's not trivia, but the organizer and the major funder of the ICC is a guy named George Soros, no? Who has been always in the midst of regime change moves, no? that take out heads of state that are not going in conformity with what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That is right, Butch. That is one observes. Dito sa pinaparating sa media parate, ganito yung news. Pero yung panig ng mga taong nasa likod talaga nito, yung nagmo-move ng pieces ng chess, sabi nga nila, hindi natin naririnig o hindi natin alam kung ano ba talaga yung motivation nila, anong plano nila. Sila naman ang nagde-determine talaga ng ultimate outcome nito.
The same thing with so since we're at it, it might be interesting for us to know. I don't know if Aaron had already read up on this. No? The other arbitration court that was put up was the one in Hague that referred to our West Philippine Sea issue against China. No? Now, we went to Hague. Actually, the government of the Philippines funded the organization of the arbitration court. Yung arbitration court is actually does not have what you call permanent members. No? The parties appoint the judges or the justices for that. They get them from law firms and so on and so forth, mga prestigious. Tapos linalagay sila to sit as the arbitration court. In this particular case, China was not involved in anything. But the Philippines chose who the arbitration justices were going to be, funded the setting up of the arbitration court. And not only that, the whole affair was funded by Philippine government. No. Now, they went through these discussions on the China Sea issues, and of course, the decision favored the Philippines. China was never there, never recognized the court, never made representations, never commented on it, and yet the Philippines chose to propagandize this in quotes, victory, no? As if though the arbitration court really, there was some sort of what is it, major debate together with China on that. Never. No? Now, I want to know, if that was the case, does that, and we know, of course, the arbitration court's decision is also not binding. Not binding because if you're trying to arbitrate, at least the two parties must be there. If they only have one party, what kind of decision will it be? So how should we look at this situation now about the arbitration court that was made against China? Yun ang dapat siguro tanungin natin.
Aaron, I'm sure na pag-aralan mo yung issue ng China Sea, South China Sea, West Philippine Sea, and most relevant doon yung results ng arbitration case na sinampa natin sa International Court at which nanalo tayo. Ano ang idea mo about sa implementation ng decision na to?
Alright po. So yun nga po, sabi po sa arbitration, there is no legal basis for China to claim the South China Sea kasi po they're claiming it based on the 9-dash line na wala naman pong basis under international law. Pero tama po yung sinabi ni Sir Butch na these decisions are not binding. Bakit po? Wala naman po kasing international sheriff. Wala naman din po international police. So sino po ang mag-e-enforce sa atin ng mga decisions na yan? Pero at best po, magagamit natin yung mga decisions na yan for the other countries who also consented with that kind of law. For example, the UNCLOS, who are also party of that UNCLOS, na, para to pressure China na, hey, kailangan mong sundin, hey, even if etong decision na to hindi binding, pero kaming mga countries na part ng treaties na to, so supportahan namin to dahil ito yung ginawa nating treaty. So ganun po siya, parang lang po siya, parang international pressure lang po siya. Kaya po parang sabi po ng Justice Carpio, okay, hindi siya binding, pero we can get a resolution from UN telling them na sundin yung mga nagiging decisions na yun. Kasi po, totoo po, hindi po sila binding, pero po at best po, at least makakuha ng international support po.
All right. Well told, Aaron. Butch, alam mo ba?
Pero like that, for example, we call it an arbitration court, but there was only one party there. Isn't that already a flaw in the whole process? Then the other thing, if we're going to get the US to put pressure, the US itself is not a signer of the UNCLOS, and the US was not party of the arbitration court. So what kind of ascendancy will the US have on this? The 9-dash line is a claim. Is a claim by the Chinese. They don't intend to enforce it anyway. No? It's just a claim. No? They have not actually used the 9-dash line claim and tried to enforce it by using their military ships. What they're doing is in the tawag dito, itong 200-mile economic zone natin, there seems to be an overlap of that 200 mile between the territory of China and Vietnam and the Philippines. Dito tayo nagkakaroon ng issue. Dito tayo nagkakaroon ng issue in as far as militarization is concerned. Tayo nagtatayo. Pero dito sa 9-dash line, even if they claim that, they have not tried to enforce it. Yun lang sinasabi ko. What is the big what's the big hullabaloo about this thing?
All right.
Diba?
Yeah. All right, Butch, alam mo ba na meron nagbukas na ang Tokyo Olympics today.
Good.
Yeah. And meron kaming kasama dito sa office na member ng Philippine team ng rowing. And then meron tayong athlete na pumasok sa rowing. Ngayon nasa quarterfinals na siya. Nag-end up siya as third ata dun sa qualifying. Ngayon nasa quarterfinals na siya. Good luck to him. Chris Navarez.
That's your
The gold medalist, the Olympian Philippine team. Yung kasama namin dito sa office, teammate niya, yung kasama namin dito sa office, dating captain ng Ateneo rowing team. Sabi ko, meron palang varsity ng rowing. Parang sa Lasal wala. Butch, meron ba?
I don't think so.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, si Butch before ay manager ng basketball team ng Green Archers, Lasal. Was president also of the Alumni Association sa Lasal. Berdeng-berde yan. Sila yung nagpapalechon lechon baka parati sa football field. Kami ng mga pep squad, kami lang yung may exclusive access doon kasi normal students hindi makapasok. Nakakakain kami ng lechon baka. Ang sarap pala ng lechon baka. After that, din ako nakakain ng lechon baka. All right.
But it's good to discuss these things. Like anything, we don't resolve anything. But the questions that need to be propounded are propounded. You bring it up and put it in the minds of people and let them think about it. No? Because sometimes, because of the propaganda effort for or against China, the basic items of that whole issue are not mentioned. Because there is a propaganda going on to demonize one or the other. Yan ang dapat nating isipin. The other thing, I'm always thinking about the Philippine interest. The other thing is, pag meron tayo sa propaganda, meron tayong China demonization that China intends to invade the Philippines or get our territory or something like that. Everybody is quiet about the fact that the U.S. warships, a lot of them, are in the territorial waters of the Philippines. They actually, kung minsan, ang dami dyan, mga 2 or 3 ships are in Subic, nakaparada dyan because their sailors have to go R&R. No? And they're inside our territories, inside the flying our waters. But nobody's complaining about that. Despite the fact that they are warships carrying nuclear weapons and ready to fire at their enemy. And if their enemy is China, China will necessarily fire back at them, which is in the Philippines. And what good does it do us by working, getting involved in this whole charade of us being used as a parang attack dog against China? Our effort must be towards looking for peace efforts, so that there will be so that we will not be a battleground between these two superpowers. That is our effort. It is not who should we side with, the US or the China? Who is stronger, China or the US? That's not the issue. The effort must be to try to avoid and prevent a war in our area, in our land, by these superpowers.
And we have precedent dyan ng World War II. Isa sa mga centers ng awayan ng World War II ay dito sa Philippines, kaya nga maraming Japanese dito, di ba? And then pumunta dito din yung mga Amerikano. Pero in the course ng awayan ng mga malalaking bansa, Philippines, ang liit lang naman natin. Nagkataon lang tayo na nasa gitna. Sabi nila na flatten daw yung Manila that time eh. Kapag nasa Santa Ana ka daw, di ba Santa Ana ngayon sobrang loob na yun ng Manila. Lambas na yun ng Malate eh. Pag makikita mo daw yung Manila Bay mula Santa Ana, ibig sabihin, napabagsak lahat ng buildings. Kasi lahat ng buildings sa Manila, boom, 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 pinasabog, air raids. So bumagsak lahat. And then, kapag nasa loob ka ng building, gusto mo daw bumaba, and then pagbaba mo, may sniper, sure dead ka. Kaya mapapansin mo dito sa Manila, iilan lang, halos walang nag-survive na buildings na luma. Kailangang i-rebuild yung Manila. Kaya ganun ang nangyari. Yun ang iniiwasan natin. Ayaw nating pumunta sa gitna habang nagbugbugbugan sila. Kasi pa naman, yung China, merong warship sa kaliwa dito sa West Philippine Sea and then US din. And then tayo yung battleground nila as if lupain nila to. In the meantime, tayo yung nagdurusa. Okay? Alam nyo yan, mga lolo't lola ninyo, magtanong kayo ng istorya, including Butch, alam ko yung story ng family na kung gaano tayo mag-suffer sa kamay ng kahit sino pang side na yan. War yan eh. Kaibigan mo yan o kakampi. Kung nakarap ka sa kalaban mo, malamang papatayin ka niya. Okay? Yun ang iwasan natin. And I think I would agree kay Butch na yun dapat yung ultimate purpose ng mga discussions na to. Anyway, Aaron, mag-uusap dapat tayo about family ngayon pero approaching na tayo ng 9 o'clock. Pero Aaron, I heard na nag-participate ka kanina ng debates and international yung setup. Since international yung theme natin ngayon, and then may konting family, I know na family yung topic nyo kanina. Can you tell me about yung subject matter ng debate ninyo kanina and then yung position mo? Go.
Alright po, ate. Kanina po, may debate po kami no, na parang should that the state should allow minors to undergo medical procedure even without the consent of their parents. No? Kasi po parang generally po in status quo, kailangan palaging may consent ng parents kasi minor ka. Ang presumption ng state, ang presumption ng batas, hindi ka capacitated to think on your own feet. So ang position po namin, syempre sa debate, hindi ka naman makakapili ng side mo. So ibibigay yan ng organizers, ito yung side mo, ito yung side mo.
Ano na lang yung position mo sa puso mo sa question na yun?
So kanina po, ang position po namin sa debate, attorney, ano po kami, we are for the state po. No? We're arguing for the state. That the state...
Yeah, I mean, yan ba yung gusto mo talaga? Pwede mo naman i-take yung kabilang side kung sa tingin mo yun yung tama. Ano yung tama sa tingin mo?
Well, I think, attorney, naniniwala naman po ako dun sa side namin no, na, you know, these children, they know, even these minors, they know what they want. Pero to a certain extent lang, parang wag lang sila gagawa ng something na irreversible. For example, kung gusto nilang patangusin yung mga ilong nila, parang mga gano'n, diba? Something irreversible. Kasi yung mga minors, madali po yung ma-influence. Parang beauty is pagka matangos yung ilong ko. So parang kung yung mga tinutusok lang sa ilong na tatangos yung ilong mo for few months, gano'n, parang that's okay for us, diba? Pero kapag something na irreversible, then there should be a limitation. Po. Kasi may have to understand na yung mga children, kahit bata yan, they know their best interest in life po, di ba? Parang kapag bata ka, wala naman sasabi sa'yo na, maging doktor ka, maging abogado ka, ganyan. Yung bata yung nagdidesisyon para sa kanya. The same thing po, na yun yung pinaglalaban namin sa debate namin na parang, these children should know already their best interest. Parang they just need informed decisions at the end of the day po.
Alright. Nasaktan ako about sa ilong Mommy, bata pa naman ako, pwede bang mag-decide about sa ilong ko? Parang gusto ko siyang ipatangos. Medyo irreversible na to, pero anyhow, ayoko yung itsura niya ngayon. Aaron, bigyan kita ng question ngayon Merong mga movements sa states ngayon, sabi nila, wait, itong bata na anak ko, feeling ko born siya male, pero ang totoong gender identity niya ay babae. And kailangan kong mag-act ngayon. Kailangan kong mag-act ngayon kasi kapag nag-act ako, kapag past puberty na siya, tapos gusto niyang maging babae, wala na, mukha na siyang lalaki, tapos transgender na. Transgender na siya na medyo meron na siyang male features kahit mag-cross-dress pa siya. So ang sabi nila is, dapat habang bata pa, bago pa mag-kick in yung kanyang pubescent period, mag-take na siya ng hormones para ma-regulate yung hormones niya para habang lumalaki siya, babae na itsura niya. Pag adult, hindi na mag-develop yung mga lalaki na features niya, mukha na siyang babae. So masaya na siya. Ngayon, ang tanong, yung bata, halimbawa naiintindihan niya to, sabi niya, babae talaga ako. Sabi niya, babae talaga ako. Kahit pinanganak akong lalaki. And ayokong magdusa paglaki ko. Ikaw may kasalanan, mommy, daddy, dahil sobrang religious ninyo. Hindi tuloy ako papangit tuloy ako paglaki ko. Pag 20 years old na ako, nakadamit man akong pambabae pero mukha pa rin akong panlalaki. Kaya kailangan nyo ang payagan ngayon na mag-take na ng hormone replacement therapy para smooth yung pagiging babae ko, sabi niya. Since kontra kayo, pupunta ngayon ako sa doktor at doktor na espesyalista ng ginagawa ng gusto kong gawin, and then hingi ako sa kanya ng hormone replacement treatment. So yung doktor, sa tingin mo, okay lang ba na bigyan niya ng treatment yung bata kasi nga kontra yung parents niya and naiintindihan niya yung bata ay malay mo nga naman maging ganun pa rin ang iniisip niya pag matanda na siya. Ano sa tingin mo, Aaron? Di ba ang hirap ng question na yan?
Oo nga, attorney, hirap napapaisip nga po ako habang nagtatanong kayo. Pero po, attorney, parang ang ganun pa rin naman po yung stance ko at the end of the day. No? Parang, these children, they know what is best for them. No? Maybe, their grounds are a little flimsy. Pero that's what parents are for yung mga doctors na yan. Parang sila yung magsasabi ng informed decisions. Parang sasabi, okay, you're intersex, or you have the possibility of becoming a man, you have a possibility of becoming a woman. It's your choice. And whatever your decision now might really affect you in the future. So parang at the end of the day, kailangan po maging informed pa rin yung decision nung minor na yun. So that kung meron mong mga magiging consequence, alam niya yung magiging consequence na yun. And even beforehand, from the onset, alam niya na kapag ka nagbago siya ulit at the latter days of his life, prepared na siya. Somehow prepared na siya sa mga magiging consequences niya kasi he was informed even beforehand.
Uy, alam mo, yung mama medyo macho na kasi ako ngayon eh. So hindi na ako magiging babae. Paano kung yung bata naging macho siyang katulad ko paglaki nga and sabi niya sa mama niya, "Hey mom, sabi ko sa iyo eh, hindi talaga babae talaga ako. Hindi mo pinayagang mag-hormone replacement therapy." Ngayon tuloy kasing macho ko na si Attorney Harold. Hindi ko na kayang maging babae pa kahit ba kasing gwapo ko siya, sabi niya. Kasalanan mo to, child abuse. Butch, may idea ka ba? Tawang-tawa ka dyan, ha?
Then tatawa lang ako. I think the fact the operative word there is minor. Minor. I'm talking about somebody that has not yet been able to reach that age of majority wherein he can make decisions for himself. While the person is a minor, the responsibility is still with the parents. Now, I think parents, unless if the parents push it, they will be held responsible for any repercussions. But when the child continues to say that he's a woman, even if he's a male, no, I think the first thing that the parent should do is bring him to the doctor, the psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist pala.
And then let him go through that, let him go through this. Alam mo, kasi when you're a minor, you're very you're very susceptible to suggestions. No? And you can be put in a situation wherein the older people or your peers will convince you that you are gay, even if you're not. And in order for you to get to be accepted by the gang or something, no, you will you will make yourself think that you're gay, no. So and I've seen this, and I I say this because I have two brothers that turned gay, no. They turned gay when they were in the United States. And I realized that they became gay only because at the time that they were there, they seemed so alone and lost. And some guys took them in and took care of them, not realizing that the guys were part of a group of gays, a gang of gays. And eventually, you know, as you know, these things, even if we was a teenager, they were getting to these parties, and so their behavior became that way. And it's sad because if my parents had known earlier that that was what was going on, maybe naagapan nila yon by changing the environment. No? Pero hindi eh. So that thing happened. No? So and I can see it also happening here. Look, I can speak like this because I'm already a lolo. I'm a grandfather. No? And so I've seen the developments on these things. Many people who were in their teens wanted to be a woman, even if they were men, no? And were insisting on getting a trans an operation, no? And then when they were denied that operation, they started just being a transvestite. But soon enough, by the time they were 30 years old, they reverted back to being a male. Why? Because that was the most natural thing for them. They found out that it was nicer being a male than a female, I suppose. So meron mga ganyan. So I think you have to let the minors reach a certain level of maturity for them to decide. Now, if to be informed is very relative, Aaron. One can claim to be informed. You know, so many people are talking about, let's say, marijuana. Oh, I know everything about marijuana. So, but in reality, they only want to know what favors their thinking, and not the other side. The same thing with all the other drugs. This is not different. This is not any different. Yun lang ang aking point of view.
Right. Bakit ba kasi magkakaiba ang physiology ng mga male and female? Sana pare-pareho na lang para madaling mag-switch. Kaya ako kapag gusto kong maging babae sa gabi, magpapataba lang ako eh. Kasi yung kakaroon ako ng volume dito sa aking chest part.
Kung walang babae, it will be such a boring world, no? At kung walang lalaki din, I am sure it is a boring world. What makes it interesting is there is a male and a female. And the psychology of the female, 100% is different from the psychology of the male. No? This is and the fact that there is always this effort to try to understand the other makes the world interesting.
Yeah. Nagrereklamo na yung mga kaibigan kong babae eh. Nauubusan na daw ng lalaki kasi yung mga lalaki na din ang hinahanap.
Kakompetensya nila.
Anyway, Butch, let's go to the comments. Kasi
Yeah.
baka hinahanap pa si Aaron ng kanyang mother kasi minor pa ata to eh.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, start tayo sa baba. Nora Panza. Pwede pang senator si Sir Butch. Uy! May nag-encourage sa'yo, Nora. Ay, Nora, Butch, ano masasabi mo?
No,
Di ba?
we just want to look for the leaders for the country. Dito sa Partido KDP, we are still searching for the proper leader from president all the way down. No? As of now, puro pa-epal lang sila at wala pang sinasabi kung anong pinanindigan nila. Yun ang dapat natin hanapin. No?
Right. Dulce Awakay. Hi, Sir Butch. Gandang gabi from Marcos Loyalist, Hong Kong. Alam mo, Butch, dumadami ang manonood natin kapag nandito ka eh. Daming comments. Alam ata nila kapag wala ka eh. Kaya hindi pag wala ka na sa entrada, wala na, alis na kaagad. May bounce rate, ang
Hindi
taas.
naman. Hindi naman.
Iron Rock. Iron Rock Jermis. Good evening mga katipuneros. Francis Tapia Oblena. Magandang gabi, Attorney Harold, Attorney Aaron, Prof. Butch. Watching KSA. Marami tayong matutunan sa programa ninyo. Mabuhay kayo at ang KDP. Next.
Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, layo.
Yeah, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Francis. Mark Yosel Vivit. Parang familiar tong pangalan na to. Parang naging guest ko na ito sa show na to. Ayun siya, nagay sa likod. Uy, naka-face mask. Social distance ba kayo dyan? Good evening po. Happy birthday, Aaron, watching from the office. Colleagues. Erica Rose Respicio Duton. My cousin, Lola Bebang is watching you, Attorney Nax Heart. My Lola, Butch, she is 91 years old already. Lola Bebang.
Congratulations po.
Sabi nila, what does it feel to be 90 years old? Sabi, tapos ang sagot, not much different from being 89. Sabi nga nila, kapag matanda ka na daw, walang araw. Kumusta ang being 90 years old, sabi nila. Eto, araw-araw may sakit sa katawan. Merong isang parte ng katawan mong masakit. Kaya Bebang ang nickname ng lola ko is because ang pangalan niya ay Genoveva. So Bebang. So Genevieve. Rando Terragosa. Philippines is sovereign. Rando also my guest. You know, at the back. Shiny. Sana hindi kayo nasilaw. Siya yung spotlight ko. Glenn Resurrection. HBD. I don't know what that means, pero HBD. Pilosopo. Ito galing sa Isabela to. Very interesting topic. Parati kang nanonood. I think nasa CMSH ka. Napagalitan ba kayo last week because sa topic ko? Medyo na-consensya ako doon. Chris Emmanuel M. Visitacion. So maganda ang naging plano sana ni former President FEM na hinarang ng mga dilawan at makakaliwa. Nakakalungkot lang hindi nila nakita ang yung potential na tulong ng technology ng nuclear power just in case na ipinapasok ang konsepto ng withdrawal sa ICC na laging binabanggit ni Piduts. Ano ang magiging epekto niyon at basehan nito sa Constitution? Sabi niya, just in case ipinapasok ang konsepto ng withdrawal sa IEC sa nalaging. Well, sabi nga ni Leonen na moot and academic kasi nakaalis na tayo ng ICC, nagsulat na si Duterte, umalis na tayo and pinayagan na tayong umalis. Tama man o mali yung pag-alis na yon, hindi na nag-decide yung Supreme Court. Sabi niya, nakaalis na tayo eh. Ba't pa natin i-decide yan? Kung tama o mali yun. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng moot and academic. Susan Rosales, good evening, Katipuneros. Katipuneros, meaning members of KDP, Katipunan ng Demokratikong Pilipino. Sundan nyo ang KDP page sa Facebook and YouTube. And kung gusto nyo maging member, get in touch lang sa aming party. Best party ever. Olive Picar, good evening po mga sirs. Aside, meron ba kayong naririnig na ibang party or meron bang ibang party na may katulad na ganitong platform na may constant dialogue, open dialogue, kontra man o hindi, parating nag-uusap, iba't ibang anggulo. Itong show ko is legal angle and then meron ding medical show, itong KDP, and then meron din galing sa education. Open parati yung dialogue, hindi natin kailangan mag-agree, pero parating pinag-uusapan, transparent lahat. Ayaw nyo bang mag-belong sa grupo na yon? Olive Picar, good evening po mga sirs, Sir Butch, Attorney Aaron, and Attorney Harold. Happy birthday, Attorney Aaron. HBD! Yun palang ibig sabihin. Happy birthday. LC Ablay Kabigting. Happy birthday po, Aaron. Betchay! You're early today. How are you? Good evening po. Mabuhay ang Respishow! Thanks, Betchay. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. Isipin mo na lang parati kitang iniisip kada Biyernes at parati kong inaabangan ang comment mo. Angeline Leasing, good evening, Attorney Harold Respicio and Sir Butch. Sir Aaron De Gia, listening from Hong Kong. God bless. Marie Claire Zapanta, happy birthday, Aaron. Cecil Argonza Ramirez, good evening, Attorney Harold. Watching here. Where? Zenea Arcilia Suke, good evening, Attorney Harold Respicio. Sir Butch, Aaron, always listening here from Hong Kong. Rando Teragoza, Suki Karando. Carlo DM, HBD, Aaron. I think this is Carlo, another guest the other episode. Kevin Bernabe. Hey, ini-spam niyo yung comment section namin. Kayo yung mga nandito. Kevin, good evening, Sir Attorney Nash and HBD Aaron. Hi. Nicanor Gatchalian, good evening po. Okay. Any more comments? Is that it? All right. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You look wonderful and fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. Ask your friends beside you on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram. Ask them, have you had your Respishow? Have you subscribed to KDP channel, Katipunan ng Demokratikong Pilipinas sa Facebook? And sa YouTube, kapag hindi pa, kindly ask them, tell them to subscribe. That is all for you tonight. Have a good night. Till next week. Woo! Celebrate naman kayo sa likod.